Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're going to be talking about Pig, the latest Nicolas Cage movie about a man on the search for his pig that was stolen from him. Now, you hear that plot. You probably have a movie in your head, right?
Yeah.
Like you have John Wick with Nicolas Cage going on like a murdering spree to get his pig back. It's not that. Like, it could have been that.
Yeah, it could have been that. It could have been that. It's not.
It's way more of a somber meditation on life, death, and moving on, but like enraptured in this weird plot involving the seedy underbelly of Portland's restaurant scene.
Yeah. Now, here's the other thing that's weird about it. It follows... If you're a fan of screenplays, you know that there is a certain way that certain types of stories are told.
Yes.
You know, your basic action plot is told differently than your standard, than a hero's journey, than a horror story, than a romance. This is actually modeled after a heist.
It kind of is to a certain extent, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, even though our heroes don't actually steal anything.
There's no actual thievery, and there's no actually putting a team together. But there's a lot of the beats that feel like that.
Yeah. There's a whole section where it's basically that moment that Rick and Morty point out that every heist movie has, which is "You son of a bitch, I'm in."
Yeah,
It has that moment, even though those words are never said.
There's also like, it also like, okay, plot wise, it almost kind of is John Wick, but in execution, it's not. Because plot wise, it is about a man going to search for his animal that was stolen from him. Now in John Wick it was killed, but like,
right,
you get what I said.
Like he metaphorically kills their soul.
Yeah. And he is returning to this seedy underbelly, much like John Wick, who returns to the seedy underbelly of the criminal underworld, the hitman underworld. In this case, Nicolas Cage revisits the seedy underbelly of the Portland restaurant underworld, in which he is known. He is like a famous fucking chef. So he kind of has the John Wick treatment where someone says his name and everyone's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Like, it's like, imagine if like John Wick and Gordon Ramsay somehow became the same character.
But like, where it's not like John Wick is in the execution, in that he's not going around killing people. Like Jack said, it's more like he's going around killing people's soul.
Yeah.
Or he's giving them a new appreciation in life. It's almost like the anti-John Wick in that way.
Yeah. Everyone he encounters kind of gets a new lease on life.
Yeah, like he becomes like a catalyst to everyone's revelation, like in this weird way. So instead of killing them, like they find a new stage in their life through their encounter with him. It's very weird and very interesting and not what you expect, but it is fucking captivating as all shit.
Yeah. Like we actually had to have a discussion about whether or not this movie actually entered our wheelhouse.
Oh yeah,
because it's not particularly bloody. It's not really a horror movie.
All the blood is blood that Nicolas Cage's character has, that he acquires over like getting punched along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just basically he gets punched several times in the movie. He gets a shit beat at him several times. And he like never takes a shower.
Yeah.
This all takes over like a 48-hour period of
time. So you kind of get the visual metaphor of his slow deterioration as the story goes on, but it's kind of weird because he doesn't fully deteriorate. By the end, he has his own revelations and his own new lease on life. It's very intriguing. It's not the movie you expect, but when you watch it, you feel like at least when I was done watching it, I felt like, oh shit, I feel like the movie gave me a revelation on life.
I know. Like one of the things that happens in the film is that the way he like kind of assassinates people, if we want to extend the John Wick metaphor, is just by being a better chef than anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, this is, what do we say, like, destroys someone? We mean, like, when Gordon Ramsay fucking tells a guy how full of fucking shit he is and the guy starts breaking down.
Yeah.
You know?
But the weird thing about it is that he's not doing it in the Gordon Ramsay style.
No, he's not. He's very just matter of fact going, what are you doing?
Well, yeah.
Pasta's overcooked. You know how to do this.
Yeah.
You know, that guy's like, oh, you're right, oh, like, God, I failed, you know?
Imagine you're going about your life, right? You're going about your life, and then all day on your fucking doorstep shows up this fucking hobo-looking Nicolas Cage motherfucker who's like all bloody and bruised and beaten and all that shit. But you realize through talking with him that he's actually this very famous guy in whatever field you're in.
Yeah.
You know, so like if you're a screenwriter, he's a famous screenwriter, whatever the fuck. And he starts talking to you, and you start talking about the things you're doing, and he just kind of matter-of-factly points out to yourself that it's not exactly what you want to be doing.
It's not what you want to be doing, and you're actually kind of bad at.
Yeah,
you know,
like the thing that you're trying to do, you're bad at, and the thing you're good at, you're running away from, and maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
it's kind of he kind of gives people those kind of revelations over the course of the story.
Yeah,
and it's like these scenes between him sitting down and talking with these people is as engaging as any John Wick action scene.
Oh
like,
yeah. They're really super fucking understated, but the entire time you were just fucking riveted to just whatever fucking Nicolas Cage is gonna do, even though he doesn't actually physically do that much.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. And this also isn't wacky Nicolas Cage either. This is like deadly serious Nicolas Cage, and you buy it. Like, there's never a point in which you're like unintentionally laughing at him like you do in some Nicolas Cage performances. In this movie, you're just like, oh shit, Nicolas Cage means business.
Yeah,
like, you know, like,
yeah. He's just come to settle the score.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, oh god, that one where they go to the restaurant and they have the whole like spiel about what the meal is and everything.
Oh yeah,
you know, and he's just sitting there, you know, like a bum. And he just picks it up with his fingers. Doesn't even use a fork. Just picks it up. I'd like to speak to the chef. And you're just like,
yeah. Oh shit.
Oh.
With barely any dialogue, that just said everything.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. Oh, it's fucking great. And on top of that, you're also just, even if you're not really interested in like the fucking like metaphysical shit about life and like journeys and loss, you are 100% engaged in this man trying to find his goddamn pig.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting there going like, oh my god, that pig is adorable. Much like John Wick, where it was like the most adorable puppy in the fucking the planet. Yeah. This pig is super fucking adorable at the beginning.
Yeah. And you're just sort of like, oh, he's got his pet pig. It helps him find truffles. It's so fucking cute.
Yep. He's got his truffle hunting pig, who gets kidnapped. And oh man, the sequence in which it gets kidnapped, I love the way it was filmed. It was like filmed in like one shot.
Yeah.
Where it was, and you're watching him getting beaten down and the camera constantly whipping back and forth. Until eventually,
you're watching him, and yet you're getting everything from his perspective. Yeah, you know, it was really clever.
And then you watch him like crawl over to the window, and the camera still pans with him, and then you see out the window as the car takes off with the pig.
Yeah. You only see what he sees, but you watch it happen to him. Really well done.
It's just like it's much more of an art house film than you're expecting.
Oh, definitely.
You know, but like the kind of art house film that's also weirdly straightforward. Like some art house films are kind of like Lynch films, you know? You're like, what the fuck is going on? Oh shit, that's weird. What does that mean? What's the metaphor here? This movie is actually narratively pretty straightforward.
Oh yeah, extremely. Like so much so that you can tell part of the idea was to do this ridiculous premise by the numbers.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's also shot like a gritty crime movie too.
Yeah.
Like you're watching him go through the streets of Portland into like the back kitchens of restaurants, and like it feels like you're in a mob movie.
You know, I was about to say, it feels like sometimes it felt like a fucking oh god, not Christopher Nolan, Seven.
Oh yeah, like a David
Fincher film. It felt like a Fincher film.
It kind of did. Yeah. Most definitely. So like, yeah, I highly recommend the movie Pig. Like, if anything we've said and described so far has enticed you, then you should definitely check it out. It's currently available to rent on various streaming platforms, so pick your poison and enjoy. It is not a horror movie, however, nor is it an action movie. So if you're going in expecting those two things, put that out of your mind. Like, you know.
We just decided that all Nicolas Cage movies by default are our wheelhouse.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about them, you know. And it's not like we haven't talked about weird things out of our wheelhouse before. Like I've done vlogs on Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
You know, sometimes we do, because sometimes we need to, you know, we need to diverge from horror for a little bit, because if you're just consuming the same thing over and over again,
can't appreciate it.
Exactly. You know.
But yeah, I fucking love this movie. I thought it was excellent.
And like, it should say a lot that I went in expecting John Wick, and I got something that was almost like the anti-John Wick, and I loved it. Like, that should say everything.
Yeah, look, I will say this, though. If you want to... Look, if you like that babe...
Oh, yeah.
You like that babe. Like, this is basically Babe Pig in the City, but we have to follow the farmer.
Yeah.
As he's desperately looking for Babe.
Like, you know how both of the Babe movies are all kind of like kid stories about life? Like, the first Babe movie, like teaches you about like the cycle of life and death and all that stuff, and like and how society puts you in these little positions, and like it's kind of shitty, these positions you're forced into and you don't want. Like, this movie is kind of like that, but for adults.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of touches on a lot of similar things, just not in the kiddie style, in a much more weirdly dark style.
Yeah.
But also kind of uplifting. Like, that's the weird part about it.
Yeah, it is. It does have a good ending.
Like, it's somber. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, you will get something out of it if you watch it and pay attention and actually engage with it while you're watching it. You know?
Yeah, it's one of those weird like art house movies that has like a kind of sad or somber ending. Yet at the same time, it manages to be uplifting.
Yeah,
it's really weird. You know?
Absolutely. So, highly recommend Pig, and with that said, let us move on to the spoilers.
Man, I feel weird about getting the spoilers because there's only really one spoiler, and I'm not sure we want to say it.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil the very end beat.
Okay.
I'm going to leave that for you to find out. But what I will spoil is that, you know how I said this is kind of like the anti-John Wick? So, like, in John Wick, the way John Wick deals with the whole thing is he goes around and kills everybody until every motherfucker is dead. And even when every motherfucker is dead, it's not quite over, because by killing these people, you know, people are not going to hunt him down over that.
Yeah.
So the movies continue.
He's back in now.
You know, it's an endless cycle of violence that won't stop. And it's all because someone killed his puppy, and his puppy represented his wife's love. And so he's caught in this vicious cycle of self-destruction. This movie is not about a guy self-destructing, though it feels like it is at the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning it totally feels like
like as the movie goes on, you can tell that he starts to come around on the other end. But like, at the end of the movie, instead of like, oh, I have found the person that took my pig, and instead of, oh, okay, so now he's gonna fucking pull out a gun, he's gonna fucking beat this guy to death, he's gonna get his goddamn pig. Instead, he decides to cook him a meal. Like, he decides to have this, like, I'm gonna cook you this revelatory meal that will change your life. It's like the end of fucking Ratatouille.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you a meal that's gonna take you back to a period of time in your life, and you're gonna cry.
Yeah.
And that's his strategy at the end of this movie. And this is where it's kind of like a heist movie, because he's got
to get the ingredients and shit.
And so he has to get all his contacts from the city from back when he was like the top chef, and have them all give him the best ingredients so that he can make this meal and all that stuff. And so instead of concluding this story with an epically violent fight scene or a shootout or anything like that, it ends with him cooking a guy a meal and making him cry because the meal reminds him of his dead wife.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a very non-violent ending that's actually super pacifistic and also just, like, emotionally moving. Like,
well, yeah, it's like he is an assassin. He's the most powerful assassin of another type.
Yeah. Like, and it's to the point where, like, when the fucking bad guy starts crying, you feel that.
Yeah.
Even though he's a piece of shit and you hate him. Like,
yeah.
You know, like, goddamn. And like I'm not going to tell you what happens after that, because what happens after that is a big fucking spoiler. But like, that moment to me, just like that, like, made the movie.
Oh yeah, that's the movie.
You know, like,
that's the movie. That's when the movie tells you exactly what it's all about.
You know?
Oh man, no, it was such a fun idea.
You know, and like the rest of the movie leading up to that is like, first you kind of have the self-destructive, like, first quarter, right? Where he's like trying to look for the pig and he has to go back into the underworld, and he's willing to go as far as to get into this fucking like fighting ring where people pay to beat people up.
So we're like kitchen workers beating the shit out of each other for money.
So that he can get the information of who took the pig and all that stuff. Yeah. And so like that feels very self-destructive. Like he's going down this hole, he's letting people beat him up, and it's whatever. But like around halfway through, when he has that encounter with that one top chef in the city, the kind of guy who kind of took his place in the city, and like he's like breaking this guy down because the guy used to work for him when he owned his restaurant, and back then the guy wanted to open up a pub and make very different kinds of food than he's making now, and he's just kind of like pointing out to the guy that like, yeah, you're successful, you have all the money, you're making all this weird fancy food that you don't like cooking and you don't like eating. So like, is this really worth it? Like you got fame, you got fame and fortune, but you hate it.
I love that whole like, I love that whole like, these people don't care about you.
Yeah.
They don't know you because you haven't shown them.
Yeah.
You are. It's like,
you know, and at the end of the day, this big famous the kind of chef you see on the Food Network who's like really famous and successful and owns a bunch of restaurants. You're watching him break down because all he wanted to do was open up a goddamn pub, but he was in the wrong city to do that.
Yeah.
So instead of going to a city that would accept the pub and enjoy the pub, he instead became this fancy restaurateur, making all this fancy, like, super highly expensive gourmet food that he doesn't like cooking, and he doesn't think anyone actually likes eating. They just like the prestige of
being there.
Yeah.
You know, like, who actually eats this shit? You know?
And it got him fame and fortune, and he is highly successful, but he's miserable.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like, it's that whole thing that... Because, like, part of the point is that everyone looks down on Nicolas Cage's character because he was a famous chef just like that. He used to have one of the best restaurants in the city, and everyone knew him, and every chef looked up to him. And then after his wife died, he kind of essentially retired and moved and became a hermit who sells truffles.
Yeah.
And had this pig that he just enjoyed living with. And the thing is, everyone looks down on him for that because, you had everything. You had all this or whatever. But, like, the whole message is that, yeah, he had all that and he wasn't happy. He's happier in the fucking shack with his pig.
Yeah.
Than he was in the big city making all that money and all that stuff. Especially now that his wife died and there was no reason to be in the city anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing keeping him there is gone. So why not leave?
You know,
I also liked that scene because we're comparing it to heist movies. It's the moment in the heist movie where, like, the character that comes back to town for one more heist has to convince their old buddy who has lost the way, who has fucking joined the bad guy, to help him.
Absolutely. And you also get that really emotional scene with his baker, his former baker, who has taken over his old restaurant and turned it into a bakery because they're a baker. It's like,
right.
You're a chef, I'm a baker. And was also, like, obviously good friends with his wife.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like this, like you can tell it's the first time in a long time he's actually confronted the death of his own wife by talking to this baker.
And that whole scene is set up like, once again, like in a heist movie, there's always this moment where the main character runs into the person that they had a love affair with but didn't quite work out.
Yeah.
And this has totally got that energy to it.
And the other thing I should say, because I don't know if I've ever outright said this in this vlog so far, much like John Wick, pig represents wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So he lost his wife, and that's why he decided to become a hermit in the forest with his pig, selling truffles. And so when the pig is stolen, that's kind of like the last thing he has left. And he even admits later on that he doesn't need the pig to get the truffles. He's actually a good truffle hunter himself.
Yeah, he just knows how to find them.
He knows exactly how to find them. He wants to find the pig because he loves the pig. And why does he love the pig? Well, it's because the pig's all he's got.
Yeah. Pig's been his friend for how long?
However long the pig's been alive.
It's basically replace dog with pig, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there.
Exactly.
Oh my God, although that reminds me when they fucking run into the other fucking truffle hunters when they're trying to track down who stole the pig.
Oh God.
Oh man.
And the truffle hunter just like wants nothing to do with him until he says they stole my pig, and then she's like, what?
What?
What? all right, I think I know who did this, and then they fucking go off.
Yeah. That's just like, no.
Track down the meth heads that stole the fucking truffles and then sold it to some big city guy.
Yeah. No, God, I love that. Because that's just one of those, like, no, makes total sense. It's like, it's one thing that this guy, no, some things just ain't right.
And that's also the point where you know it's not the kind of movie you think it's going to be at first, because like you're like, oh shit, he's going to beat up some meth heads, right?
Right.
And it's like, no, it's nothing like that. It's just like, where's my pig? Finds out where the pig is. All right, immediately takes off to go find the pig in the city. You know?
Yeah, like, but at any moment he looks like he is about to murder everybody.
Yeah. Like at any moment it's going to turn into John Wick.
Yeah.
But what I kind of like about it is that John Wick is, revenge story, action movie, and all that stuff. But part of the point of John Wick is that he never actually gets over his wife. And that's why the franchise keeps going.
Yeah.
It's because he never actually reaches that point of equilibrium. It's basically going to end whenever he dies.
Yeah.
It's a self-destructive streak. And this movie, it starts off self-destructive, but he kind of does reach equilibrium by the end. He actually does kind of finally accept his wife's gone by the end of the story.
Yeah, he comes out the other end.
You know? So like this story is like if John Wick, he actually, came to terms with his own grief.
Yeah.
And he kind of does it through his experiences with all these other people and the way he touches them and gets them to like realize what they've lost and what they've given up and what they're doing right now that is not what they want to be doing.
Yeah, one of the other things that one of the other conceits of the movie is that he is constantly by his side constantly is this restaurant owner, and he's like this young guy who just like owns a bunch of restaurants in Portland, and the only reason they know each other is because the guy buys truffles from him.
Yep. And he comes from like a wealthy family, so he's got like this really fancy car and shit.
Yeah.
Which is why he's got all the connections that he's got.
Yeah, and he starts out coming off like a prick, and by the end of it, you really like the guy.
At the beginning, you're like, oh man, such like a rich asshole or whatever. By the end of the story, you're like, oh man, guy just wants his dad to love him. You're just like, oh.
Yeah. The movie's real good at that.
But his dad won't love him because their wife's on life support because she tried to kill herself because she was so unhappy, and she's like, and you're fucking like weeping with him, and you're like, God damn it. Like,
It's a real dude emotion movie.
It is. It 100% is. It 100%. This is a great example of a movie like it is true, like when it comes to like representation in movies, that like we need more movies that have like more equal representation in it, like women and men. This movie would not have benefited from that kind of equal representation because it very much is about men's grief.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. That would be like oh Jesus, I used to have the perfect example. It would be like, imagine a girl with the dragon tattoo like didn't start focusing on the girl with the dragon tattoo, but the entire time was just the narrator. It'd be like,
that would be bad. That'd be balls.
Yeah.
So like this movie actually does like it needs to be the way it is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In order to tell the story it is, in order to explore the themes it's exploring, which is very much about male grief, 100%.
Oh yeah.
And also some like toxic male attitudes, which kind of
definitely.
Which Nicolas Cage's character kind of deconstructs over the course of it, as well as coming to terms with his own problems with that by the end.
Yeah. But I mean, like he confronts that head on, but in the scene where he's got to let this guy beat the shit out of him.
Oh God, yeah.
And
that's the scene. Like, okay, after all of this, even though you're like, oh shit, okay, maybe this isn't like John Wick. Then you get to that one scene, you're like, okay, this is where it's going to turn into John Wick, right? He's going to fucking start fighting this guy. They're going to have a fighting ring or whatever. And then you realize it's not a fighting ring. It's like if you can survive being beaten, you get money.
Yeah. It's I forget what it's called, but I think it's called the ones.
Yeah.
Where you just basically punch a guy until he fucking knocks out, and that determines the winning. And everyone's betting on it.
And he doesn't want money at the end. He just wants the guy who runs the ring to give him the information he wants. And so you're watching him just getting beaten, and he stays beaten for the rest of the fucking movie because he never takes a shower or cleans anything up. So he's just getting progressively more beaten up as the story goes on, and you're watching him kind of confront his own shit, and it's just so good.
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
It's fabulous. It's absolutely fucking fabulous. It's a God. no, it's a really good movie. It's a really good movie.
Pig is
definitely check it out. You know,
like it's not going to be for everyone, but I think everyone should at least give it a chance because it was a surprisingly great movie. Like I said, I went in half expecting a John Wick style action extravaganza, and even though I didn't get what I thought I was going to get, I was fucking enthralled with what I did get.
Great movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I
wouldn't hesitate to recommend this.
Hell yeah. I recommend it. You know, like I don't think everyone's gonna like the movie because it is such a somber meditation, but I do think everyone should try watching it.
Oh yes, yeah.
You know, because you might end up liking it more than you think you will.
Yeah, and it's a nice lean like 90-minute flick.
Oh yeah, it's not long at all. You know, it's really fucking good. It's also not even like I kind of described it at one point like almost like an art house film, and it is an art house film, but it's not even like an A24 art style art house film.
Oh no, it's its own thing.
It's way more straightforward. You can just like follow the narrative. There's not like many like long shots of atmosphere, you know?
Yeah, because like it's a very simple metaphor.
Yeah.
You know, like the metaphor is so simple and they just kind of let it be there.
Yeah, so if like when I said art house film, you thought A24 and you're one of those people that don't like A24 films, it's
First
not
of all,
like that.
I don't know what's wrong with you.
Oh yeah, I fucking love A24 films. You know, but if you're not into those kind of films, this movie isn't like that. It is a different type of art house film. And so, is there anything else we want to say?
I can't think of anything else. I can't think of anything else to talk about that doesn't like give away the last part.
All right. In that case, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Well, you can find me at Counting Jack on Twitter, which
run, cat,
Gomez
run.
running behind the camera and skittering into the garage. You can also find me on Twitch, Count_Jackula on Twitch TV, where I stream twice a week on Thursday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
I believe so, yes.
Yes, and you can also find me on Instagram at Satanic Jackula.
Hell yeah.
How about you?
Y'all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitch, on Twitter, on Instagram, and Facebook. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema, and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. My brain completely forgot what I was saying mid-sentence for a second. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way. And if you made it this far into the vlog, then I want you to put hashtag Big Truffle in Little Portland. Hashtag Big Truffle.
We've been sitting on that, haven't you?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I want you to put hashtag Big Truffle in Little Portland in a comment below, and be sure to comment below so that I know you watch this vlog all the way through. And yeah, I've been sitting on that since we watched the movie. Hell yeah.
Oh.
And with that said, we're going to record a couple more vlogs, and we'll see you when those come out. So, peace out.
Some pig.
Some pig.